Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are in November, guys. November, where has the year gone? I don't even know, to be quite honest. It's quite scary. There's this trend going around of everyone doing their 10 before the end, so that's what we're going to be doing today. If you can see, I have my stack of books here and I have some over here. So we're just going to basically go through the 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. It's crazy to me that we're going into 2026 in a month and a half, but we won't talk about that. So first on my 10 before the end. Hunger Games Catching Fire. I read The Hunger Games for the first time this year. It'll be in a vlog that you will see in a couple of weeks. And I was absolutely obsessed with it, guys. Why have I never read it before? I genuinely do not know. I was never that kid. Like when I was a teenager, I completely stopped reading. So I never got the hype of all these like teen YA books. I only watched the Hunger Games movies, I'd say, for the first time a year or two ago. And I don't even think I finished Mockingjay. So I don't know how the story actually ends. So this is absolutely has to be read before the end of the year. I think in this one, it is, if it follows the same as the movies, they have to go back again. This is the one I think that Finn is in. That they have to go back. Is it like all like past winners? I don't know what the name of that specific, like, do you know how they've like the quarter quell or just the annual Hunger Games? Is it a quarter quell maybe? I don't know. But that they basically just got out of their own Hunger Games, but the year that they've went into is a quarter quell, I think. So they have to compete again. And we meet Finn. And I hope Finn is exactly like he is in the movies. I hope he gives me Sam Claflin vibes, because I love Sam Claflin and he played Finn absolutely amazingly. I don't know, was he meant to be that way, but he was amazing in the movie anyway. So that is number one on the books. Why did I do that? That is number one of the books that we are going to read in the 10 before the end, is The Hunger Games Catching Fire. Number two on our list for the 10 before the end is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I've heard so much about this book. I don't know what it's about. I think she is a witch and the male main character is a witch hunter. So he's basically hunting her, but he doesn't know he's hunting her, I think, because no one knows that she's this witch. If that makes sense. I don't know. I think that's what it is, because it says here, a socialist by day, she's the Crimson Moth by night. A vigilante bent on saving her own. Her new rescue demands she courts Gideon Sharp, a notorious witch hunter. And unforgiving revolutionary, a witch hunter. Gideon will pursue the Crimson Moth to the ends of the earth, and her trail leads him to ruin. But beneath her facade might be his match, except what if she's the very villain he's been hunting? That sounds so interesting, and so many people have loved it. I don't know, is this called different in America? I think it's called The Rebel Witch in America, or was that the second one that was released? Or is it the first? I know there's some confusion with either the first or the second book. One is either called, like, I think the second one is Heartless Hunter here, but it's the Rebel Witch there. I don't know. There is a difference in the name, but it is the Crimson Moth on this side of the world. Number 3 on the list, guys, Queen of Shadows. If I have not finished this series by 2026, I'm going to be so upset, and I know I'm not going to, because I won't have time, because I'm getting into literally the 3 biggest books of the series after this. I have the tandem read and then Kingdom of Ash. Sorry, I have it down there, so that's why I'm looking. But I read, is Crown of Midnight the one before this, or is it Heir of Fire? I think it's Heir of Fire. I read Heir of Fire in March, and I have not picked up a book in the Throne of Glass series since. Could not tell you what happens at the end. I'm going to have to go back, I'd say, and read the last couple of pages or the last chapter just to kind of catch myself back up so I can go into this. I'm very scared. I'm very, very scared because I'm worried I'm not going to finish and love the series as much as everyone does so far. So far, I like it, but it's not knocking my socks off. But similar to ACOTAR, it didn't till like later on. Like, I loved ACOMAF, but nothing compares to ACOWAR or A Court of Silver Flames. So it could be that. It might be in the later books that I get the graw for it. But so far, it's good, but it's not the most amazing, groundbreaking series that I thought it was going to be for me. So hopefully with Queen of Shadows, it'll like tip into a favourite series. Next is a non-fiction book, which is weird for me because I don't really read non-fiction, but this is one that's been on my TBR for so long. It was actually Destiny Sidwell I saw speak about it ages back now, and I recently watched the film, and I just want to read the story from the actual people, and it's A Beautiful Boy by, is it David Sheff? Yeah. Him and his son went through so much with addiction. I used to work in addiction services, so this topic is quite close to my heart. The movie is done brilliantly. Timothée Chalamet and Steve Carell, they represented the way addiction is and how it doesn't just affect the person who's in active addiction, it also affects the family, like the wider family, but obviously the addict doesn't see that in the time. So David Sheff, he wrote this from his point of view, the way his son going through addiction from his point of view. So it's called Beautiful Boy because he would have always called him his beautiful boy. And then I don't have that on, but there's a follow-on, not a follow-on, but his son Nick Sheff, who was a past addict, wrote what that time of his life was like from his perspective. So you get both sides of it, which I think is going to be really interesting and really full circle, because you're going to see how it affected both the dad and the son, and like they might not remember scenarios or things that happened the same way, because obviously when you're in addiction you tend to kind of block things out that happen, particularly when you're cutting families and things like that off. It's very hard, and I commend the two of them for writing a book about it, because it's a topic that I think is so important, and I think we need to speak about it more. Next is the third book in the Windy City series, which is Kyan Miller's story, Caught Up. I read Mile High. I didn't love it. I wasn't obsessed with it. I did think Ryan Shea is the worst man. There was some redeemable things about him, but I just felt her weight was talked about so much, and it just irked me so much, and his attitude irked me a lot. Even though obviously it's put on and we know that, but it's just still. So Mile High I did not love. The Right Move, which is Stevie who gets with Ryan in the first book, it's brother. No. Did I say Ryan Shea? Ryan Shea, I'm so sorry, and I apologise to you, because Xander's is the fella in the first book, sorry. So it follows Xander's and Stevie. So Xander's is horrible. Stevie has a brother called Ryan Shea who is in the... he's not in NFL, he's in basketball. I think he's in the NBA. And he meets one of Stevie's friends, Indy, and then obviously that unfolds. This book follows Kai. I think, is Kai a single dad? Yes, he's a single dad who plays for Chicago's NBL team, so I'm assuming that's Major League Baseball, and she becomes his nanny, I think. Yeah, so he becomes the nanny to the daughter, and I'm just very excited to see this story. I do like a single dad trope. Who would have thought? Elsie Silver introduced me to a good single dad trope, so hopefully Liz Tomforde does it justice, but I've heard the later books in the series are the best. I'm so excited to read, play along, and rewind it back after these. Next, we are going into a fiction book, but the reason I picked this is a book about OCD. This girl has OCD. It's called How to Hide in Plain Sight by Emma Noyes. So it's just, I want to read a book with representation of OCD. I hope this does it justice, because OCD can be portrayed in a very particular way that isn't necessarily the most accurate way, but it's the way that's most widely thought of by society. And I would love to see an author actually tackle what OCD is like. I don't know, does this author have OCD herself? If she does, then I hope she'd have the proper insight as to how to represent it, because it's not just wanting to clean or be neat and all that. So I'm very interested to see how it's represented in this book. I actually saw this recommended. It was Sarah Crowley, and that's why I bought it, because she spoke about it. And yeah, we're going to go into it, and hopefully I will love this. Next is, we are on to number 6. Next is The Winners by Fredrik Backman. I'm currently reading Us Against You, and that's the reason that this is on the 10 before the end, because I'm absolutely devouring Us Against You, and this just isn't a good size book to be travelling with, because I'm moving and I already have quite big books coming with me. So I'm hoping if I read this and love it, I can leave this copy here and buy a new one when I move. So I'm trying to get the Beartown trilogy done before the end of the year, and we're in the perfect season for it, because we're going into that like winter really cold season. So I'm hoping that'll give all the proper vibes. But so far, Us Against You is, oh my god, it's phenomenal. Fredrik Backman has become one of my new favourite authors, which I never thought I'd say, because I'm not a huge literary fiction person, but he has changed me. So I'm going to read it, and I'm actually going to annotate it, because I enjoyed it so much from the first 10 pages. So I'm going to buy a paperback copy, and I'm going to annotate that, and I'm going to save this as my prize baby. But for the purpose of the video, that's why I used this one today. So that is my 10 before the end, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing my 10 before the end, and I shall see you guys in the next one.